Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Mackmyra Classic Online Tasting. My name's Matt Davey, and I'll be your host tonight. Just to give you a quick rundown of what we'll be doing tonight, we'll be discussing each whiskey one by one and providing some tips and nosing tips and tasting tips as we go. We've also got some amazing offers for you. Kev, how are you doing? Welcome.
I'm fine, Matt. Thanks for inviting me along. It's exciting, fun.
Perfect, man. Perfect.
And as you can tell from my English accent, I'm from Scotland, but
no, definitely. Kev's joined us recently and is brand ambassador up in Birmingham and will be around the Birmingham area and Midlands and Northern counties. So, Kev, welcome aboard. Glad to have you on board with us. Give us a rundown of basically which jams are in line. I'm in the running order, if you could, please, and we can start getting on with the tasting.
Okay, excellent stuff. So tonight we're going to be covering the core range. I've got them lined up here. So if I'm looking down to the right, it's because the bottles are all here. So we've got Mack, we've got the new release Brooks whiskey, Svensk Ek. Forgive my Swedish, first of all. It's not the best. I have trouble with English. I'm Scottish, so but I will learn. So Svensk Ek, Svensk Rock, and then I think you're going to finish off with Limousin. As well.
Yeah, roundabout there. But I think Svensk Rock we'll finish off that one last, Kev.
Sure, yeah.
Just give them a bit of that peatiness at the end there. All right, guys. Have glasses of water around. Please drink responsibly. If you guys are going to be pouring the dram, I suggest maybe just pour a little bit of the whiskey out and then revisit that dram or your favorite dram at a later stage. We've got a great offer coming up for you later on tonight. We'll discuss that a little bit later on in the show as well. All right. Please don't be shy, guys, to comment and give us your questions. Carl in the back end, who will put them up first, and we'll gladly be answering any questions throughout the night that you guys need answered. All right, just a quick history. Intro to Mackmyra itself. Mackmyra is obviously Sweden's first whiskey distillery. We've been around since 1999, and it all started off as most Scandinavian distilleries do. A couple of friends got together in a ski lodge with a great single malt whiskey, and the boys came up with an idea of why aren't we producing any Swedish whiskey or single malt whiskey? We have all the resources in Sweden, from peat down to the great water we have, great barley as well. So the guys went out and went on a little whiskey discovery, and in 1999 we eventually opened the first whiskey distillery in Sweden, producing the first single Swedish malt in the little town called Mackmyra itself. We're currently in 3 locations, so you can find us in Germany, Sweden, and in the UK. And we've got various warehouses where we store casks all around Sweden itself. We'll be touching on the core range and the seasonal range tonight. And keep a lookout. We've got a new moment coming up soon. So that should be hopefully released in the next month or so. So look forward to that. I'm going to hand you over to Kev for the first jam for the night. Kev, what do we have lined up?
So we're going to start off with the Mack. So I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to pour your dram of Mack. I will mention that it's entirely how I've got 3 glasses with me, to be fair. So the Mack here, we'll come on to that, what the recipe is and the 40% stuff like that, and the ABV. But the 3 glasses, 3 types. I've got the Glencairn glass, I've got a little tulip glass, and I've got what I call my snifter glass, the little one. So in this one here, we're going to go into the little Glencairn glass and pour. Like I said, be careful, guys. You're going to be here a little bit, and it's always sometimes save a little bit for after and always come back to it and try it again as well. So the Mack, what can I tell you about the Mack? It's part of the core range, as we've mentioned. It is essentially a creative whiskey. It's designed for those creative talents out there that want to be exploring whiskey perhaps for the first time as well. Based around the 40% ABV side of things. So if you're not aware of what Scotch, it needs to be 3 years matured, American oak casks, and also it needs to be above a 40% ABV value as well. And it's actually one of the lower ranges that we've got compared to the rest, which is roughly about 46%. And one of the other things as well that was done with the Mack, and it's chill filtered. Looking at the chill filter side of things, it was a case of it helps its purity, it helps its overall appearance at the end of the day as well. We chill it down to just above 0 degrees. It gets rid of all the esters, the ethers, makes it a little bit clearer, a little bit more pure. And we're not shy about it as well. We also put a little bit of colouring in it as well to give it that full appearance for us. Ex-fill bourbon casks, so Jack Daniels side of things, where we get the cask from. You might pick up a bit of that, and you'll find out from the tasting notes in a bit. I don't like telling you about the tasting notes straight away. I tend to figure out what you can actually sense rather than me trying to tell you. So I'm going to have a little smell of it and see what I can think, and immediately I'm getting like the fruits and the vanillas from the bourbon side of things.
Definitely a lot of caramel notes on that as well.
Yeah, very much so. It's just an absolutely lovely, soft. For me, this is a soft, fruity aroma. Pears, apples, that type of thing is what I'm getting on it as well. So I'd love to see what your comments are in the thing. So if you get any comments about this whiskey and you're trying it yourself, please feed back to us what you pick up. And I'm not one of these experts that comes down and say, oh, it's like a shoe leather toasted in the morning with some cigar oats. I go in and I go, if I like it, I like it. There's no right or wrong way. I absolutely love the whiskey. For me, this is my beginner's whiskey. It's one of the first Mackmyra ones I tried.
Yeah, and definitely when we first actually made the whiskey itself, Kev, we actually made it specifically for the bar industry. So both the bottle design, including the lab gin that we've done, are all designed to be behind the bar. So the long neck enables it to be poured easily and all that kind of thing. While you're holding it up, can you flip it around and show them the back of it for us quickly? Just the label there. We can see there's a little distilled at the Gravity Distillery. Now, the Gravity Distillery itself is the world's first gravity distillery. It was started production in 2012. It's about 35 meters tall, and how it works is all the materials itself goes onto the top, and as Carl's put up there, it all filters down during the maturation process, and at the bottom you get your distillate. Sorry, not your maturation process, your distillation process. So
yeah, I've been over there. It's actually really nice.
Yeah. You went to did some of the scans for our VR tour, didn't you?
Yeah, if you go to the website mackmyra.com, you can go onto there and try the virtual tour. Myself, Matt actually worked on it as well. To be fair, doing a bit of the back end jiggering about. Some great team over there with Friedrich. Give him a bit of shout out as well because he looked after us while we were over there. But it's a great distillery. I mean, this thing is absolutely fantastic. As you mentioned, 35 meters tall, and all they do is take the two silos at the back. You've got peated, unpeated. Take the barrel up to the top of the distillery and let gravity do the rest. It's just stunning. And then the heat that's generated as well gets filtered back into the actual system. So it's I think it's 45% less energy than other distilleries.
Basically, I mean, it's lowered our carbon footprint, and we got in 2021 we got the most sustainable distillery award. So it's something futuristic, but it works for us, and it's a great thing to go witness.
And they take the draft down as well and use that in the bio pellets, which actually powers the furnace as well. So it's absolutely fantastic. So it's the only one until the one in Edinburgh's built, but this is the only currently one there.
Yeah, no, correct, 100%.
Guys,
cheers.
It was Skål. Is it Skål?
Skål. That's one.
So for those of you that are joining us and don't know, because we're waiting for some feedback on here to see who's actually joined us, you're tasting whiskey as well. It's good to hold that initial dram in your mouth and get it around the tongue, top, bottom, left, right. Every time you do that, don't just take a drink, swallow it. Get it around the mouth, get it around the palate, get it understanding what you can taste in there as well. And generally, the second one is the better one, because the first one opens up the taste buds and gives you that sort of spark. I'm just trying to get again, it's still fresh and fruity. It's light. This for me, is like a little bit oily, which is a bit surprising. There's a 40%, but
and I mean, a beautiful 3-year-old. I mean, as you can taste it, it's perfect. It does so nicely in cocktails and mixes and that kind of thing. Old fashioned, really nice. If you like your kind of more bourbon kind of old fashioned. So I mean, great thing to just have around every day. I keep it at home all the time. It's my go-to whiskey with Mackmyra. So really enjoy it. But yeah, guys, let us know what you guys all think out there, and let us know if you're enjoying the first dram of single Swedish malt whiskey.
And I'm going to sit that back. I'm not going to finish it there. I'm going to let it air a little bit in the glass, come back to it in a bit as well. Might actually put I got a little present for my birthday last couple of weeks. A little glass of water, a little water jug. Yeah. And I'm just going to put a couple of little bits of water in it as well, just to open it up a bit. It's a mixer. You can put anything you want in it, play with it. But I'm going to put a little bit of water in here and just see what it does to it. and that for me really does smooth it out as well. It's a lovely
Oh,
dram.
yeah. We've got somebody there. Lee, hi, everyone. Hi.
Oh, hi, Lee. I'll tell you, it's nice to see those comments come up because currently I'm talking to you and I can't see anyone else there, and it's a case of, is anyone actually listening to us? It's really good.
Yeah, no. We've got a decent crowd in, Kev. We've got a decent crowd.
Yeah, you got good. It's good.
Yeah, we've got a good crowd. Don't worry. All right, guys. So, any questions about the Mac itself, guys? We're almost getting ready to go on to dram number 2, which is one of my personal favorites and one of the first whiskeys I ever had when I first was introduced to Mackmyra and Swedish single malt whiskey. So let us know if there's any comments. If you're joining us for the first time, please go like our Facebook pages and go follow us on Facebook, Twitter. Always welcome to have new guys on. So yeah, have a look. And Kev, are we ready for dram number 2?
I've got the bottle in my hand.
There you go. All right, guys. So Kevin is holding up the new vintage, which is a new variant that's come out recently and that has replaced the blue label bottle that you guys do have, and we'll see. Now, the blue bottle that you have currently is no longer available. So if you do see one of the blue Mackmyra labeled whiskeys, please grab them, guys. This is one of the best whiskeys I've ever had. It comes in at about 41.6 ABV. It's a beautiful cask recipe. We've got about 200 liters of first fill bourbon in that, a little bit of ex-bourbon with a smoke tail, and a bit of sherry cask. And just to give that Swedish oomph, we put about 100-liter cask of Swedish oak into that first fill whiskey. I kind of dubbed this the breakfast whiskey at some of my tastings, and a lot of people ask me why. The reason why I say that, it's a very light, beautiful white, gently fruity whiskey itself. 41.4 ABV, so it's not really punchy. At that ABV percentage, it just allows you to develop the flavors and understand the tasting profiles, and it's basically the baseline of the whiskeys going forward. This whiskey, as opposed to the Mac that we've just had, is 100% original ingredients. There is no chill filtering to it, no color added to it. So this is a straight single malt whiskey at its finest. After doing that, the reason why I wanted to just get through the nitty-gritty of that, guys, is the story behind Brooks is very important, as it's part of the history and makeup of Mackmyra itself. Brooks Whiskey and Mackmyra Brook, which started off, which was our first whiskey distillery in Sweden. We started producing in 1999, and I found this beautiful place, which is a white building over there in a little town called Gävle, which is 120 miles north of Stockholm, Sweden. When we first moved in there, we brought in 2 big fortified stills. So we started producing at a much higher volume than when we first started off, which was a hand-built 100-liter still, which the members started off in the very beginning in 1999. So one of the members, being an engineer, actually welded the 100-liter still himself and built it himself. So from meager beginnings to where we are today with the Gravity Distillery is quite a nice big history, and we've got quite a nice history over the last 23 years. What else can I tell you about this? Most of this whiskey that you're drinking tonight is from the Brooks Distillery. So this is all old distillate that was made and distilled and bottled. So yeah, it's a real treat to have this, and we will be changing the new variation very soon. So we'll be having a new classic collection set out within the next couple of months. Kev, when you first had the Brooks, what did you think of it in the very beginning? I remember sending you a bottle all those moons ago.
Yeah, well, I've got to be honest. It's one of those ones. I actually sat with the Brooks and did the tasting with it when Rich was hosting it, and I like it. It's a more for me. It's a more punchy taste than the first one, than the Mac. And it was always interesting. I've actually got one. I'll go get it once we're having a little chat about it. I've actually put it in the freezer. And something that amazed me about it is the difference in taste when you put it in the freezer. And it was recommended to me during one of Rich's live. Rich is another ambassador, and I've followed them for a while. And they turned around and said, chuck it in the freezer, try it, see what you think. And I was blown away by it. So pretty much every time I want a Brooks, it goes in the chiller for me. The taste wise or the smell wise, what can I say about it? It is actually, it's just another smooth, lovely dram. Lots of vanilla coming out of it as well. I mean,
definitely a little floral notes as well to me, as well, which is really nice. But it does have a really nice, bright kind of light color to the actual liquid itself.
Yeah, and
Very
I've got
involved.
back to before we go back. I'll come back to the storyline in a second. But your box as well, which you mentioned there, the storyline is actually on the box as well. If I can put that in front of the camera, telling you all about the stuff there on the and the boxes are all recycled and all that type of stuff as well. So it goes back to their environmental credentials as well. So back to the nose. Again, you've got fruity, spicy, as you've said, toasted notes.
Yeah, a little bit of almond there.
I've still got the pear. I've actually got more pear on this one than I have on the Mac.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that one.
Yeah,
should we go in for a bit of a taste there, mate?
So shall we? Should we dive in?
I think we should. Skål.
Thanks. Skål, mate. I was going to use that glass.
That's quite a.
You can actually dive into,
Yeah, that one you probably can. Beautifully light. It's not so punchy, but I do pick up a lot of almost butterscotch notes to it, which is the first one I kind of get.
I get a big kick on that one. I felt Mac's very smooth, very soft on the palate. You don't get a big rush of intense flavors, intense spices. As I said, it's a beginner's whiskey for me. This one here lets you know it's alive and in the room. I definitely got a kick in the face for that one.
There we go, Shane. Breakfast whiskey. That's the one.
Yeah, but the trouble is, Shane, in the Scotland, breakfast whiskey means you chuck it on your porridge.
We don't recommend that, but
no, don't do that. Don't do that. Not unless you're Scottish.
Definitely smell the vanilla and fruit notes, Lee. Definitely.
It is lovely, and it must be lovely because what was it? They released another. Certainly, the first part of the Brooks whiskey on the blue label was about an 8-year-old, I believe. And this is now the 2008, which would make it 13, 14 years old. So it's had that extra time in the barrel, in the cask to give it that extra punch.
Yeah, so your variant of the vintage 2008 distillate, it varies completely different to the taste profile of mine, which the guys do have in the pack. This one is a little bit less spice with a little bit more less smoke tail to it, where we didn't use that previously in the one we are currently dramming with the rest of the guys, the blue labeled one. So this has a lot more. Yeah, the blue label you got there at the back. That's got a lot more. Yeah, that's got a lot more butterscotch in it, a little bit more light.
I've got another glass, and it's actually the blue label one I've got in the freezer as well. So
yeah, great.
I was going to tell them more about it, and I was going to go and get it.
Perfect. I'll grab it. Let me tell the guys a little bit more about the blue label. So, guys, the blue label one, as I said, is very light. 41.4 ABV. It's really great. Cole, can we have a quick chat about the special tonight while Kevin's disappeared? Guys, we've got a great offer on tonight. We'll get through to the latest and last seasonal whiskey, Limousin. We've got a great offer where if you buy a Limousin bottle tonight, you'll get 40% off any Core Range bottle by using the code Limousin at checkout. And this is only available through the web store and will be available for tonight till about Sunday night. So get it while it's still hot. Kev, have you come back with a little surprise for us?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I've got the different. I mean, it's hard to see because the glass is all steamed up. But trust me, when you try this, it actually comes about a bit more viscous, so it thickens up a tiny little bit. Yeah. I've put it in there for a couple of hours. I've had this in there for about half an hour, chilled, and see again, you can't explain taste on a camera. You have to try it. But certainly, this is more in depth, more intense. It's almost as though you've added a tiny little bit of water as well to cool it down, just to open it up. And it's just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Try it in the freezer. You'll be surprised and you will love it.
Yeah, I'll definitely give it a go during the hotter days coming up. Alison, nice to see you.
Alison tried it in Sweden last week, fab couple of days. Excellent stuff.
Lucky girl. Kev, what do you think of that? I think if anybody else has got any questions, please let us know. Let us know what you think of the Brooks whiskey itself. Let's have a crack at that. If anyone's still enjoying it, and let us know. Just give us some feedback and let us know how you're all doing out there. Kev, are you almost ready for dram number 3 in the next few minutes?
Yeah. I've got us. We're all ready, so we speak. It's all set up, ready to go. I'm just going to try this chilled one again, just for a little second.
Yeah,
it's Brooks whiskey. It's just a lovely whiskey. Beautiful toasty notes. It's lots of vanilla, lots of caramel. Yeah, love it. Absolutely love the Brooks. It's a triumph, shall we say?
There we go. Yeah, it's going to be a very sorely missed bottle of whiskey, as it is already. But as I said, guys, if you do see this out at any retailer and stockists in and around Europe and the UK, please grab a bottle. Not too many left, but yeah, it's one of those things, and time moves on, I guess. But the vintage is also a great dram. Give it a try. If you can get both on your hands, you'll understand what we're talking about, where there's a little bit of a smoke tan, a little bit of a difference in distillation. Mm-hmm. There you go, Carl. That's what it looks like. Beautiful. I love that orange color. It's a completely different kind of look and take on it, but it's still keeping a tradition with the actual original Brooks recipe. So it's just a nod to the original, and looking forward to a brighter future.
Definitely. We should big shout out to Carl for doing all the work in the background as well. I do feel sorry for him. Half an hour trying to set this up, and then he realised that actually was ginger.
Well, he is a magician. He's been doing this for quite some time. But yeah, Carly boy, thanks very much for everything, pal.
Right. Okay. So shall we move on to Svensk Ek?
Yes,
so
indeed.
This has got my favourite story ever behind it, to be fair. I'll just pour it, let it breathe for a second while I'm there. Again, guys, keep up with me. It says, it's just got one of the best stories that I've ever heard from the distillation process. So let's talk about the actual Svensk Ek itself. So Svensk, Swedish, Ek or Ek, I think that's how you pronounce it, oak. So it's Swedish oak. So you'll get your American bourbon, first and second exfil, ex-bourbon, and then what they do is they take about 10% off of that and chuck it in pure Swedish oak casks. And they'll stay there for about 13, 14 months to 2 years, depending on what is the right time as decided by Angela, the genius that is Angela, I suppose. But the story behind this, I absolutely love. So using Swedish oak. So I think it was about, what was about a good many years ago. It was 1830s, the king ordered a load of wood to be grown in trees and forests and stuff like that because he wanted to build ships to have an armada, protect Sweden. Absolutely fantastic. Hundreds of thousands of oak trees to build this fleet. And standard oak, I think it takes about 150 years to grow. I think it's a little bit longer for Swedish oak to grow.
Plus minus due to the climate.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and they've just took over an island and planted hundreds of thousands of these trees. And then I think it was Friedrich told me this. Then steel or iron ships was invented, so they started making ships out of iron. And then 200 years later, I think that's probably a myth. I don't know the actual story behind it. This is 200 years later, the government got a letter from the Forestry Commission equivalent of that type of stuff to say your trees are ready.
Yeah. Well, make whiskey, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's it. So they've got plenty of oak, make the casks, and have we told the story about the 30-litre casks? Because the original stills were about 100 litres, and when you take off the heart of it, it worked out about 30 litres. So they came out with these 30-litre casks, which are absolutely superb. But also the smaller casks as well, you get a bit more contact and a bit more of the spirit, so the flavours come out a bit more. So yeah, I love this. And also with Swedish oak, there's slightly fewer wood sugars than the American oak casks. If you equate it, I've always thought and talked to a couple of other ambassadors, it's more like a dark sugar, like a chocolatey sort of sugar as well in there. So, but it's a lighter sugar content than the actual American oak as well. So you get that bespoke taste that I pick out of pretty much every single Mackmyra I've ever had, which attracts me to the brand. Richer, deeper flavors, absolutely fantastic. Instantaneously, it's the only whiskey that I've got in my collection that the wife can actually turn around and say, "Yeah, it's a Mackmyra." Everything else tastes like whiskey. She goes, "That's a Mackmyra."
Yeah, I think having access to that Swedish oak and that unique flavor, it kind of cements this as being a pure Swedish single malt whiskey itself. From the cask profile down to the ingredients, which are all 100% Swedish based. I mean, we get the peat from the white peat bogs just down the drag from the distillery. The water's just there. It's the same water we used in the Brooks distillery. We actually pumped that water up to the gravity distillery from there. So, we've done everything Swedish as possible to produce a great single Swedish single malt whiskey. So yeah.
It is. It's great, and the peat is like it all comes from the local area. It's Limousin, I think it's called. Limousin, I think is. So itself, as an actual taste, again, I'm going to get into the nose first, and it's just an absolutely beautiful, bit more toffee on the nose, definitely sweeter, definitely.
A little bit of a spiciness as well, a hint of spiciness there.
I definitely pick up the sweetness of the Swedish oak. That's one thing I've always said in this one. It's a beautiful, beautiful dram. It literally just blows me away, this one.
Yeah, Lee's comments earlier on says it smells very foresty, like you're walking through a dense, dark woodland. I think that's quite spot on. I mean, it does have that sandalwood
at night in the winter.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe whilst drinking it in a forest cabin. There you go.
And again, if you ever get the chance to go out to the Gravity Distillery, you'll find it is actually situated amongst the trees, amongst the forest, not far away from their actual one of the warehouse storage, the forest warehouse. Yeah. It's a beautiful. If you get up to the sky bar at the very top, you can actually look out across millions and millions of trees. It's just a beautiful, beautiful place.
It is a beautiful sight. I mean, like I've been there, so it's something to behold. So if you guys do ever get a chance to go up to Gävle, Sweden, and to the whiskey village itself, I guarantee you, it's probably one of the best things in whiskey world that you can actually witness, and it's a great time out there in any case.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So. Yeah. Okay. Nose in it. Yeah. We've got the notes on that. The sweetness of it, a bit of honey, a bit of the wood, and then I'm going to have a little dive and have a taste of Scotch.
Let's dive in. It never gets old. It amazes me every time. That instant spiciness and that warmth, like chocolatey, so great. So great.
It's got a long finish, that one, for me.
Yeah, beautiful.
That really has got a long. It just builds and builds and builds, and then releases. I absolutely love that one. It's nice.
Yeah, it's still. I mean, obviously, the best thing being to the festivals, I still find this to be one of the most unique standout whiskeys I've ever tasted. And not saying and pushing the brand by too much, but as a lover of whiskey, it's definitely something that when I first had it was totally unique to what I've ever had.
So I'd like to find what did Leah put the comment on about the nosing, but what about the tasting? How's it impacted, Leah? Could you tell us? Drop a comment there and let us know.
Yeah, and everyone else, let us know what you think of possibly the best single Swedish malt whiskey there is. Akis Afrikaans means ak. Yes, Shane, it does. Does mean more whiskey for you, my man.
I find this is it's definitely more peppery, definitely more spicy.
Yeah, a lot of pepper, a lot of more spicy to it, and that's purely just the Swedish oak that gives it that quality, Kev. That definitely gives it quality. But you do taste the little bourbon barrel that does go with that, because it is a 10% cask that we use. I mean, with us knocking out other ends of the cask itself with the fresh virgin oak, it does give that nice little profile of that spiciness. But you definitely pick up some of the bourbon cask that we have used in there.
Any other comments coming through? Did Leah come back to us? No, nothing there.
No. I think she's enjoying the dram too much, Matt. Oh, what a beautiful dram! Lovely stuff.
It is nice, isn't it? I'll leave that there for afterwards. Let's finish that off afterwards.
Yeah, I think that might be my after night tipple. There you go.
There you go. Thanks, Leah. It's very woody with a light peaty taste and a little earthy mossy. Yeah, completely agree. Yeah, you've gone for that walk in the woods and you've lain down in the moss and the peat.
You can almost imagine that you're actually at the distillery drinking this.
Just not in the winter, because
no, definitely. I think summertime would be preferable to go up there. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, and that's again that takes you back to all the whiskies I've had certainly so far. The Mac, the Brooks. You sit out in the garden. Put a bit of mixer in it and just make it a long drink and enjoy the sun.
Yeah, definitely. I 100% agree with you. I think the Brooks is more of a little summertime, early spring dram. A Mac, I think, is just basically your cocktail anytime you want it to go to. So, yeah. Oh,
the Ek is not one I would put something in.
No. This is definitely something I would never. Yeah. And then it's a little bit more complex as well. I mean, like it does, for the more mature whiskey palate, this is a bit of a complex drink, and it comes through and shines through with that complexity and the different notes and stuff that are developed with that Swedish oak.
Yeah, definitely moved into my snifter glass. Nothing else is getting to dilute. Something. That one there. I do like that one.
No, I just keep on wanting to go back so to not move on, but I'm unfortunately needs to move on to the next dram. Guys, any questions about the Swedish Oak itself, or just pop us a comment and let us know how it's going. If you guys are enjoying yourself, if you have any questions, don't be scared. Give Kevin and I a shout. We're here to gladly give you guys any answers and any answers that you guys are looking for. All right, I'm gonna take a little sip and then rinse out the glass and get onto our final seasonal ever. Unfortunately.
I want to dun dun dun. Yeah, I was slightly disappointed and excited when I heard that news. Disappointed in that it's the final seasonal ever, and because the seasonals have been great. I've got a full collection of seasonals behind me as well. But yeah, I'm excited because I might know what's coming. I don't know what's coming, but I've got an idea of what's coming.
Got an idea of coming. All right, guys. So on to dram number 4 for the night, and this now is part of the seasonal range of whiskies. The seasonal range of whiskies is a unique range of whiskies that we started off in about 2013 with the concept of releasing 2 new whiskies in conjunction with each season. So basically a summer and winter dram. So Limousin being a summer, and the last one is a Limousin Cognac cask, about 46.1 ABV. Now, 46.1 ABV, you will see it very common in most of the Mackmyra whiskies that you drink, especially through the seasonal range. And this is kind of like the sweet spot that we hit, where it gives you just the right kind of flavor and punchiness, but also a really nice flavor profile, and allows you to actually see the magics of the small casks that we use and how we actually mature casks and use different casks to flavor the whiskey itself. Now, we've recently, in collaboration and with Mason Ferrand, the guys who've actually given the cognac cask that we are using tonight, we've teamed up with them on a barge in Paris called the Barge 166. It's on the River Seine, and it houses plantation casks, Mason Ferrand cognac, and funny enough, some Mackmyra casks. So we have a rum cask on there that you guys can go take a look at. More information on the web store. But let's get into Limousin, and as we mentioned, this is the final part of the series itself. Fair swung song. I'm really sad to see it go. There's been some really, really incredible seasonals out there, but I think it's ending on a really good note. So give yourselves a bit of a dram there, put it in, give it a bit of air out, and let's see how it goes. Ex-bourbon cognacs, a bit of Oloroso and French Oak have been in use that. It's also been saturated with some berry wine. So before filling it up, we've just saturated the cask for about 6 months, and then we put in the spirits into that. It's an elegant recipe that we have used for this. Elegant meaning non-peated, for those that have no clue what I'm talking about when I say elegant. We've got 2 kinds of recipes that we do, or a few recipes that we do. So this recipe itself is elegant, not smoky or peated. Kev, what do you think of this when you first noticed that? I saw quite a surprised expression there.
Yeah, you can definitely tell it's the rum is just, it was new to me. That was this whole. Yeah, it's a different whiskey. It's very nice. Let me just turn and say it's very nice. It is a beautiful, beautiful, smooth dram. And I think I tasted it for the first time about 2 weeks ago. When I was researching for the tastings we were doing, and I'm getting a lot more. We said the first one was a bit fruit and stuff like that. I'm getting a lot more of the raisins, a lot more of the prunes in this one, a lot more of what I would associate with dark rummy spices and stuff. So the cognac and the cognac casks makes a massive difference to this. Seriously, it's absolutely brilliant.
It does. No, it does. I mean, it gives a very almost herbaceous kind of viney note to it as well. But I do pick up a little bit of almond every now and then. But I do get a lot of caramel notes as well on that one.
Yeah, it comes across as very sweet. It's a very sweet whiskey. Yeah, I'm thinking I can always pick out the raisins and prunes and things like that. It does smell so differently, doesn't it? It's just hard. I have not got the imagination and that side of things to put this into words. It is that different. It is lovely. But yeah, I think to not be funny. The biggest thing is my wife found out it was in Paris.
Yeah.
She said, can we go visit the barge? I went, oh God. But
No, you can. I do believe there are tours onto the barge itself. So yeah, definitely go take a look if you are in the Paris. Scent of cucumber and wild herbs. There we go. Spot. I've never heard the cucumber one, but yes, I can
buy the
see where the
cucumber one.
flavors are coming. Yes, Shane. Unfortunately, the last season ever. So guys, please, if you don't have this, it's going to have to be part of the collection if you are collecting the seasonals. But sad to see it go. But it's going to be an enjoyable ride, and it has been. Yes, you can still buy the Svensk Ek as well as the rest of the bottles. Unfortunately, it's just the Butch whiskey that we currently don't stock on the web store itself, but the vintage is there. The remaining other whiskies are available through the web store. Just remember to use the code Limousine when you purchase the bottle of Limousin and the core that you choose. All right, Kev, should we dive into this one, pal?
Yeah, no, totally. I've probably been diving into it while you've been
talking. Sorry. I don't blame you.
You crack on. I'm enjoying this. No, it's good. It's good fun. It's just such a great, different dram, and I think we've said this goes to more as the prunes and the raisins and the things for me. I don't get the cucumber out of it. I've tried to see if I can figure out the cucumber. Sometimes when somebody says something, you can pick it up, but I've not been able to pick that up. But everyone's flavor profile is different. Everyone picks up different things from whiskey. There's no right whiskey or wrong whiskey for somebody. You make up your own whiskey is what suits your palate. I prefer the sherry casks. I prefer the Oloroso casks, that type of stuff. So I like the ones that I like that sort of deep red things, but I love and that's why I've liked I can't pronounce it, Sarnrock.
Yeah.
Starnrock. Yeah, sorry, I'll get that one.
It's awesome, mate. You'll get it.
I love that one. And you mentioned it's got a bit of cloudberry in it.
Yeah.
I don't know if people are aware what cloudberries are. They look like little raspberries, but they're slightly paler in colour. A lot bit more bitter than
a little bit more tart and bitterish. Yeah.
So that is what I can pick up in that one. So I'm getting the citrusy. I'm getting the. For me, it is like eating a raspberry or a blueberry or something, but before it's ripe, and you get that kick.
A little kick to it. Yeah, definitely. I mean, but as well, just the texture of this is completely different to the last few drams. It's got a little bit of a oily texture as well, which is quite nice. It just like envelops the tongue a little bit and actually just teases the tongue with it. So it's beautiful.
I'm so glad you said that, Matt, because I was trying to figure out what was different completely about this one compared to the last ones. It is the texture. Yeah. It is thicker on the palate and thicker on the tongue and more oily. Yeah, no, I put a finger on that one. Good. I remember that one. Mate.
I see Lee's husband's disagreed about the no cucumber. Maybe it's mixing. Oh my goodness, it looks like somebody's mixing all 4 drinks.
So what did they say? I can't see the card. I didn't see it pop up.
Yeah, no. I'm just reading the comment sections. There you go. My husband
disagreed too. No cucumber. Maybe it's mixing all 4. Yeah.
Just that texture that gets me every time. Also, just as the dram goes, it's a nice, long, smooth finish though to me as well. It's not very short at all, but also just I'm starting to pick up like a little bit of like notes of toasted almond every now and then, which I say is just fabulous.
It's one of the biggest selling points for me for Mackmyra as a brand is that the experiment. I mean, you take your casks, you take your bourbon casks, you take your oak casks, you do other things and you put it with rum casks and you experiment, and then putting it on the seine to mature in the barrels. I love it. I love the experimentation of it and some of the other things, certainly the moment range and other things. The way they do that is just inspirational, I think. And I'm not bigging up Angela.
No, of course. And I mean, I think with our ex-master blender, and obviously Angela's left us recently. Which,
again, oh my God! Sorry, I did not know.
No. I know it's fine.
I'll get my coat. See you. Bye.
Stay right there. I need
Sorry
you.
about that.
No, it's fine. No. So Angela's recently, who's the master blender and has been with Mackmyra for quite some time, and this was kind of her innovative stamp in Mackmyra's history. And she was really an innovative, creative master blender itself. So, the seasonal range was created by her to be that, just that, an innovative release every year. That's basically, you could have it in summer, and then obviously we would release a winter seasonal, and that was meant to be. That's like she made it specifically to enjoy it during those seasons. And I mean, Limousin being as light and fresh and floral as it is, I think it's perfectly suited for the summer months. definitely one of those drams that I can see is probably going to be missed sorely once it's gone. But it also reminds me a bit of Apple Blom, which we did with Christian Giroux, and that was a Calvados cask finish, so similar to that, but really, really nice.
Well, I'm going to turn around and say with Limousin and things like that, and all the other stuff that I've experienced from Skål, Angela, and thank you for everything you've done for
there we go.
It got me into Mackmyra big time.
Yeah, no, definitely, and she'll be missed, but all the best to her in the future endeavors. Right, folks, tell us what you think of our final seasonal, and just remember that this is part of the special. So get this amazing part of Mackmyra history, and one of probably going to be sorely missed ranges that we've ever seen. But on to new things. We have got some new exciting things coming up in future, so keep a lookout for that. A lot of cool things coming out at the end of the year. A lot of new drams, a lot of new ranges coming out. So keep in tune, and we'll keep you guys updated. But remember to subscribe to the Xiaomi stuff, and keep them new.
Okay, excellent stuff. So, right, that was lovely. That was a brand new experience for me with regards to what we're doing with that one. And the oily bit, I've nailed that one, and I'm writing that down for future reference. So thanks, Matt. So next, and although it's the final, we can always go back, even if we're pushing a bit of time, we can always go back and try a few more and things like that. But
yeah,
we have Svensk Rock.
That's correct.
So we've told everyone what Svensk Ek meant. I wonder if they can put in the comments what they think Svensk Rock means. But we'll carry on to wait to see if anyone can do it. See if
it's in the last word.
So I'm going to put this in the glass, let it breathe a little bit.
Yeah.
And again, this is another absolutely lovely dram for me. So cask sizes in this one, 30 to 120 litres. American oak, Swedish oak, ex-bourbon casks, but saturated with a bit of Oloroso.
Yeah. Correct.
So you'll get that bit, and this is why I like this one as well, because I prefer that sort of sherry or Oloroso whiskies. What I like about this one, again, is, and it's unique to, well, not unique, it's one of the very few distilleries in the world that actually malt and smoke their own barley. And then the peat that comes in, we've already discussed that's coming from Curran Mossen. We also add juniper branches to it as well, so you'll get a bit of a juniper branch, a sweeter smoke than other peat. So that's it. There you go. So putting the Swedish oak from the Forestry Commission, bringing the juniper. Juniper's prolific through Sweden. It's used loads of recipes. You'll see what the picture was there. I've been over there. I've seen it. I've actually scanned it as well. I was actually crawling inside it, and I didn't realise. Didn't think about it. I came out a little bit covered in. Yeah, and then had to get back in my car and drive to the hotel and get a shower. But it's like to describe it to the layman, it's like a long converted shipping container. And essentially you have the burner at the entrance to it, and the burner put the peat in, put the juniper leaves in, the smoke goes all the way through and into the cabinet, and it smokes the barley essentially to give it that peated sort of flavour. And we're talking about peat and the different types of peat: Islay peat, Highland peat, Swedish peat. Islay, very salty, surrounded by salt water. The winds blow the salt in, so you'll get a saltier sort of peat that gives a profile for the Islay whiskies. You go into the Highlands, you get a more heathery wildlife peat up there. And again, in the Swedish thing, it's a sweeter. It's not salty as salty as the other profiles. So all the peats have the different profiles. Adding the juniper branches into it as well just gives it that extra, for me, an extra dimension. As soon as you pick up the rock, you will get a blast of it on your nose. It is just amazing to see it peated. And I think they were doing a malting and a smoke when I was over there. So it was nice to see it. And the smell. It smells lovely.
It's an amazing smell, and I mean, like, the whole juniper process. I mean, that's the distinct little Swedish twist that we do, just to add that little difference in how we do things with the smoking and the malt.
They got in trouble when they first started smoking their own barley, didn't they? Because the neighbours complained.
Yeah, no, they did, and then hence the reason we had to come up with a different idea, and that's why the concept. There you go. That's the very first smokehouse that we used to have, and that's basically was again came up and was made up by the 8 founding members. The guys got together and actually started smoking the body in their own houses. The neighbor kind of had a cadenza and asked, complained about it. So eventually we had to build something bigger for a bigger operation. There you go. Right there. That's it there. So from humble beginnings again to a massive shipping container next to the distillery that we use now. And our legendary smoker Hakan, who's been with us for eons since the beginning. He's the main man that does the smoking, which you saw a picture of him earlier. So he's been around for a couple of years and is quite the guru at what he's doing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Kev, again, like this to me, distinctive smell. To me, it's a campfire taste. It's a smell to it straight away. It almost feels like I'm sitting in front of a campfire with a couple of friends enjoying a good whiskey. But that's kind of the first memory that I spark from smelling this.
So I get it. I get the whole peat, the smoke, and this is for me. I think it's quite, compared to other whiskey, it's still quite a high parts per million on the smoke side of things, but it doesn't taste it. You don't get like a traditional Islay, really dark peat medicine-y flavor. I get this very smooth, very sweet, mixed in with Oloroso. It's lovely. Again, now I'm at a quandary in this one because although this is in my snifter glass, I actually put stuff in this. This is one I would take out in the garden and I would have it with ginger beer.
Yeah, so that's a good a whiskey highball of this. Yeah, whiskey highball with this would be, or an old fashioned even. This would be great.
It's lovely. It satisfies that. It's the only peated. It's the only peated one I really have taken to big time, because it's beautiful. It's just so soft.
Yeah, and as you were saying, it's not a really strong peat to it itself. So for anybody who's just new to whiskey itself and who's not looking for something that's very big on peat, this is a great entry level kind of peat whiskey for them to enjoy. It's, as you said, it's not so powerful. It's nice and smooth. 46.1 ABV, so it's not going to knock your brains or knock your socks off. So it doesn't have that a TCP kind of punch to it. But yeah, just again a very unique kind of dram. Very dry. It's what it needs to be, but for me, I wish it had a bit of a longer finish. It has got a little bit of a short finish to it, but nonetheless, it's still probably one of the nicest peated or smoke, or what we call a smoky whiskey in Sweden.
Yeah, it's not. That says that there's not that massive long finish at the end of it. You can get around that by having two.
Exactly. Or coming back for more. I think Angela designed it for that purpose. That just want to go back to that flavor because it's so unique. What the juniper does to the body.
Yeah. I mean, I've said that you still get a bit of saltiness in it. You still get that. Anise is the flavor I'm thinking of.
Yeah, a little bit of star anise to it. Yeah, I definitely picked that up too. But it, for me, it's a little bit herby as well. It's got a little bit of just a little bit of mossiness, a little bit of a moss to it.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah, definitely. I'm still not getting any cucumber layer, but I'm still getting. I'm getting the herby.
Oh, there we go.
Well, hang on. There we go. That's what it's.
That explains it all.
How many did you have before you joined the call, Leah? Was it just...
Oh, God. That's good.
I might take a hit in that one because when I did start off, I did actually turn around and read them out like that. And then you corrected me and we said, we're going to put the Limousin first before the rocks. So I changed my bottles here, but it doesn't sound like Leah changed her bottles. Yeah,
and Kevin, I mean, like the main reason why we kind of finish off on the peated one is just to allow the palate to actually to understand the flavor profiles of the previous whiskeys. Normally when you drink a heavily peated whiskey or peated whiskey, kind of just overpowers the rest of the whiskeys or elegant whiskeys that are non-peated. So it's kind of the reason why I would suggest if you guys are going to whiskey tastings and live events, try and go for the non-peated whiskeys first, try those out, and come back again to the peated whiskeys when you're ready to get on. So yeah.
The last thing you want to do is go to a really peated whiskey right at the very start of the whiskey festival, and you can't taste anything for the rest of it. So it's just
exactly. It kind of does ruin the experience. Well, that's my own personal preference. Well, guys, tell us what you think about Sven's work, and please don't forget about the offer we have on tonight. That's purchase a bottle of Limousin and get 40% off any core range whiskey using the code Limousin40 at checkout. Offers valid till Sunday, so get on it while it's still there and get drinking.
Yeah, sensibly. We're going to go back. I'd like to know, we've still got another few minutes, or 10 minutes left. If you want to say a few more comments and have a chat, just ask us random questions about the distillery, ask us about the history behind Mackmyra, ask us about the core range we've got here.
Yeah.
It's if you ever get over to Sweden, it's a lovely place to go and see, and I would highly recommend it. It's about 1 hour 20 minutes north of Stockholm. If you're looking for places,
so not too far, and I mean from Orlando, which is the international airport, straight onto the train, and it stops right outside. You have in any case, and then from there it's about 15-20 minute walk, so not too bad, or 5 minute ride. But guys, if there's any questions or anything further, guys, thanks so much for having us and joining us tonight. Kevin, thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed your first show of many.
My debut.
There you go. Carl in the background, thanks very much for everything, mate. It's always been a pleasure. To everybody out there, thanks very much for joining us. Have a great evening, and see you later. Skull.
Thanks, Matt. Take care, Skull.